always knew you were a fairly odd family, old family. I always knew, I always knew we were a fairly old family, fairly old family. I always knew you were. First, this is me. Very of family. First, there's me. People, jewelry. My mom was lovely, but not like my mom. Her fashion icon was the cream. Her fashion icon was the cream. Dad, well, he was more normal. He always seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew we were. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me. Too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion is comic. Dad, well, he wasn't normal. He always seemed to. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there was me. Too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like her moms. My mom was lovely, not like her mom. My mom was lovely. My mom was lovely. My mom was lovely, but not like our moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. Lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. But not like other moms. But not other like other moms. But not like other moms. But not other like. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. Not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. Something really about something rectangular, busy, and unsentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. The song is. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. But something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and unsentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, to orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There's something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and unsentimental. Too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, I always knew you were some family. First there's me, too tall, too tiny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. I always knew you were a family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. I always knew you were a family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. I always knew you were a family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy and unsentimental. 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 Unsentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a fairly old family. I always knew you were. I always knew you were a family. I always knew you were a family. I always knew you were a family. I always knew you were a I always knew we were a fairly family, fairly old family, fairly old family. We were a fairly family, a fairly old family. I, I always knew we were. Oh, I always knew we were. I always knew we were. I always knew we were a fairly old family. I always knew we were old. I always knew we were a fairly old family. I always knew we were a fairly old family. I always knew we were a fairly old family. I always knew we were a fairly old family. I always knew we were a fairly old family. Fairly old family. Fairly old family. Fairly old family. A fairly old family. I always knew you were a fairly old family. I always knew you were a fairly old family. I always knew you were a fairly old family. I always knew you were a fairly old family. I always knew you were a fairly old family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something also about her, something rectangular, busy, and unsentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a fairly old family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was king. Her fashion icon was king. I always knew you were a fairly old family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a sort of family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. That, well, I always knew you were a fairly old family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a family. I always knew you were fairly. I always knew we were a fairly. I always knew we were a fairly family. I always knew we were a fairly old family. First, there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like other moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. That, well, he was more normal. He always seemed to have time. He always seemed to have time. He always seemed to have time on his hand. He always seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion was cool skin. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was king. Her fashion icon was the king. Her fashion icon was the queen. Her fashion icon was the queen. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was king. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was king. Her fashion icon was the queen. That, well, he was more normal. He was more normal. He was more normal. He was more normal. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. Her fashion icon was the king. Her fashion icon was the king. Her fashion icon was the queen. Dad, I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like that. There's me solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. I always knew you were a failure of family. First, there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. Odd family. I always knew we were a fairly odd family. I always knew you were a fairly odd family. First, there's me. I always knew your family of family. First, there's me. Too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something open, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Miskin. Dad, well, he was normal. First, there's me. Too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. Dad, well, he was more normal. He was the he was more normal. That well, he was more normal. That well, he is more normal. He was more normal. He was more normal. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was seemed to have time on his hand. That well, he's more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. On his hand. On his hand. He was seemed to have time on his hand. That he's more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was more normal on his hand. He was 못 따라하겠지. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. On his hand. On his hand. On his hand. Seemed to have time on his hand. He was seemed to have time on his hand. That well, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. Yeah. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was that well. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time in his hand. That well. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. Well, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. That well. 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 That well. He was more normal. 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 He was more normal. He was more normal. He was more normal. That well. 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 He was more normal. Rectangular metal. He was more normal. He was seemed to have too strength. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. He was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. that, well, apa, he was more normal. He was more normal. He, he was he was seemed to he always seemed to have time on his hands. I always knew you were a failure of family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was keen. That, well, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a failure of family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was the king. That, well, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a fairly odd family. First there was me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and unsentimental. Her fashion icon was king. That, well, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a failure of family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, solid, rectangular thing. Her fashion icon was king. That, well, he was more normal. He always seemed to have time on his hand. always knew you were a failure of family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was Queen. Dad, he was more normal. He was seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a failure of family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom was lovely, but not like the moms. There was something solid about her, something rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was King. Dad, well, he was more normal. He always seemed to have time on his hand. I always knew you were a failure of family. First there's me, too tall, too skinny, too orange. My mom is really. There was some rectangular, busy, and sentimental. Her fashion icon was King. Dad, well, he was more normal. He always seemed to have time on his hand. 한번 넘어가 볼까요? sentimental.